Last time on the WizardCast.
I've got it. Finally, I've got it. With this, my greatest plan shall come to fruition.
I won't let you, Brian. I'll stop you. Wait, what is that? It's just a big shiny rock.
You can't stop me this time, Mark. With this, the largest uncut diamond in the world, I shall finally be able to power my weather machine.
Gasp!
That's right. All the nations of the world shall cater to my whim, held hostage by my genius and my process builder skills. I shall release the lightning.
Not if I have anything to say about it. Come here. One of these. That's not how you use an email.
You stabbed me in the spleen.
I had to, Brian. I had to.
With my last breath, I shall curse you. Curse your wedding day to be ruined.
Brian, I've been married for 9 years.
Curse you.
Yeah, okay.
And now the conclusion of the WizardCast.
I'm Brian Kwong.
And I'm Mark Ross.
We're Salesforce experts that love talking about technology and Salesforce.
We also love humor. Doesn't mean we're actually good at it.
In the Salesforce community, I'm known as the Salesforce Wizard, likely due to me wearing a wizard hat at Salesforce events.
And I'm known as Salesforce Yoda for pretty much the same reason.
You should see the ears.
We have a passion to help educate and entertain people.
So we've joined forces to create WizardCast.
We've got tips and best practices.
We talk with interesting people.
All mixed with quote-unquote jokes and humor.
Welcome
to the
WizardCast.
I've got a joke this time. Why did the banker have trouble looking at his account's website?
It was blocked by his ISP due to the lack of net neutrality.
Whoa, politics. No. It was because he needed to clear his cache.
But
Cache.
why would a banker want to remove his cash from the bank? I mean, is
No.
there a run of the bank? Is the bank
Nope.
insolvent?
No,
Oh
Brian.
my goodness, I
Brian.
just withdraw everything.
Brian.
What?
Brian.
What?
Go back to the script.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Indeed.
To start the first podcast of the new year, I got a few cool announcements.
Okay.
The WizardCast podcast now has its own official Twitter handle.
Okay.
You can follow us at WizardCast_pod, where we'll be posting episodes and links. You can even listen directly in the feed, depending on which app you use.
You can also listen to us on Spotify and TuneIn. That's a thing. TuneIn
is a
Radio,
thing.
I think it's called. Yes. As well as Google Play. We were there before. Stitcher, we were there before. And, of course, Apple Podcasts,
Yep.
we were there before.
And hopefully we'll be on iHeartRadio as well.
Good God. WizardCast is everywhere. Too much WizardCast.
Some episodes will also be up on SoundCloud, but not the full list because it's not in my budget to pay for their storage costs.
Brian, isn't this just way too much WizardCast? Do we really need another place to get more WizardCast?
There is no such thing as too much WizardCast.
Ha ha ha.
I also want to thank all our listeners. We had over 1,700 downloads in the month of December.
That's too much WizardCast.
I'm aghast.
You're aghast?
I'm aghast.
Okay, you hold still while
Okay.
I cut off your head.
What? Why?
You said you're aghast. You're undead?
Uh,
Like a more powerful form of a ghoul? It's aghast? Or if we're talking Minecraft, not Dungeons and Dragons, you'd be a floating gas bag. Well, that's not far.
put the sword down, Mark.
Okay.
Besides, now it's time when we need to do a shout out to someone special.
You forgot to get your wife a Christmas present, didn't you?
No. You and I have been recording the WizardCast for almost 3 years, and we
What?
wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the inspiration and advice from...
Patrick Duffy.
No. Who's Patrick Duffy?
He's an actor.
No, it's Mike Gerholdt.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yes. We knew Mike back when he was just doing the button-click admin, wearing that red shirt everywhere.
And like all good red shirts, he eventually got transported to the mothership. Yeah, we loved the Button Click Admin podcast, and as it continued to morph into the Salesforce Admins podcast. Now, Mike is leaving as co-host, and we just want to publicly say thank you, Mike.
Yes, absolutely. Seriously, Mike? We appreciate the support you've given us, the encouragement over the last few years.
Yeah, know the technical suggestions, resource recommendations, and including us in the Dreamforce podcasting opportunities.
So thank you, Mike.
Yes, thank you. I still think our podcast is funnier, though.
Mike is also not delusional like my co-host. Hey, what was that? What was that?
Sorry, I dropped the mic.
That's an extremely terrible joke, even by our standards. Mike would want us to be better than that. We have to be better than that for Mike.
That was actually the joke that they had on Mike's last episode. I'm just stealing it. WizardCast is brought to you by...
Crap. I was hoping you'd forget that.
You know what? We're not doing a sponsor spot today.
What? Serious?
Yeah.
For realsies?
Yeah.
You always do a sponsor spot. I mean...
Yeah, and you hate them. Everyone else hates them. No one ever sends feedback that they say, I love the fake sponsors. So for you and them, Happy New Year.
This is the best Christmas gift you could have gotten me, Brian. Oh, wait a second. You forgot to write the fake sponsor before it was time to record, didn't you?
Nah, I plead the fifth.
Mm-hmm.
So, Salesforce bought itself a Christmas present. It was announced on January 8th that Attic Labs, the creator of NOMS, an open source decentralized database, was acquired by Salesforce.
They're also the creator of those old chests that you find a bunch of your grandparents' old clothes and photos in.
Really?
Attic Labs.
Uh,
You don't come here for the jokes, okay? This is what
we're
get.
past the jokes. We're now into the Salesforce
All right,
content.
fine.
Remember, the podcast
Serious
clearly says
content.
that we do
All right.
jokes followed by serious content.
Okay, fine. But this was something. Attic Labs hasn't even been around that long. It's only been around since August 2016. But it's doing the whole venture capital startup thing. It's pretty typical, and it looks like it's supposed to be powering Quip. Am I reading that right?
You know, I'm not sure why it would power Quip. I mean, there's a TechCrunch article out there, and we'll post the link in the show. And it states that once the acquisition is complete, the Attic Lab team will join Quip to, quote, extend Quip's ability to connect live data sources, making it easier for people to collaborate faster and more effectively, end quote. For me, when I read the description what NOMS was, I was thinking it was going to be more of like something specific for Salesforce DX.
Sounds like some sort of food delivery out of San Francisco.
Nom 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 nom.
Like spell it with a Z or something like that.
NOMS. Yes.
Yeah.
Trademark.
What?
What?
You said my name. What?
You want to make a trademark?
What do you want?
So Quip. Do you use Quip?
Okay, fine. We'll let that one go. Actually, yes. Do you?
I use Quip.
Okay. All right. Quip is good stuff.
Should we quip about it?
So yeah, we actually use it at our company. So you and I do somewhat similar things, right? We are consultants.
Yes.
And
I do it better, but yes.
Okay.
It's in the title. I mean,
telling yourself that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can say we do it best, and I would not be.
No, you can do it clearly.
No, clear. Okay, that's enough of that. I got nothing. It's
None
too
of these
late
jokes
at night.
are going to make fun to anyone else.
Too late at that. Nope, it does not land. So yeah, we use it to do actually some project management. You know, we have large projects, implementations, things like that. So all of our notes that we take as a company, as a team, when we meet for scoping, when we meet for requirements gathering, all those notes and everything are going into Quip documents. And now we have the live app stuff. So have you been working with the live app stuff?
What live app stuff?
The latest update to Quip included this new functionality called live apps. And it's basically a whole bunch of new widgets that you can add. Things like Kanban board. You can add to a Quip document. You can add a calendar to a Quip document. You can add files directly into a Quip document. All sorts of good stuff. Have you?
No.
You haven't had any chance? Oh, man.
So you know,
it's actually really fun.
We use Quip mainly for sharing information outside of the company. So like we work with a company to take the crap that I write and make it look pretty for blog posts, professional, not the stuff that you normally see. We actually work with a few strategic partners on certain promotions, and so we will actually share documents through Quip that way and collaborate on them for preparing. And otherwise for that, we'll put like Salesforce reports in, which I really like that.
Yeah, we haven't had a chance to do this yet to get that hooked up.
I had a really good one where we're doing some analysis on our customer history base, and they wanted to have this list and they wanted a spreadsheet, and I'm like, no. I gave them access to a Quip doc, and I shoved a Salesforce report in there, and then they were like, oh, but we need so and so, and I'm like, okay, and I added to the report, and I was thinking, oh, I'm gonna have to go back in and update Quip. Nope, Quip automatically refreshed and pulled in the new columns. It was pretty cool.
So it occurs to me that maybe for people who don't know what Quip is, who haven't seen Quip, we should probably explain what it is.
And we should make that explanation pretty quick.
Yes. It is collaboration.
It's, think Google Docs done a little bit more smartly.
The Quip team hates it when you compare it to other existing things.
Yes,
out of personal experience. I can attest to this.
I'm sorry. I'm
is.
sorry to the Quip team, but
I know
Google Docs came first.
It's Slack meets Google Docs.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
Well, you can do the same kind of stuff in Google Docs. I mean, Google Docs has its own chat bar and everything like that, but I think the way that it's done in Quip is simply done better.
Right, exactly. So it is essentially documents, things like word processing, spreadsheets, that are organized into folders and things like that. So in that way, it is like Google Docs. If somebody has a document open and is typing into it, somebody else can also be typing into it at the same time. That's why it works well for us when we're doing requirements gathering. If we have a couple people doing requirements gathering, we can each be contributing towards the notes simultaneously. Like if I have a sales guy who's got his viewpoint versus my technical viewpoint, it's all still going into one place. So that's extremely valuable. Same thing for spreadsheets to have that ability. I will say it's not as it's not as speedy as like a Google Docs.
I think it depends on what you're using it for. I mean, I like Quip a lot better for the WordPressing stuff, but I still like Google Docs for spreadsheet oriented items. But what I like about Quip is it's not necessarily one or the other. You can have a spreadsheet embedded within a Quip doc.
That is, yes, exactly, which is pretty nice. You can have multiple spreadsheets. So you could say, like, this is a document, normal word processing, but I'm going to have just 3 rows and 5 columns. And it's kind of like a table, except it still operates like a spreadsheet. So you can still do like your sums and your formulae and everything you need to do that you would normally need a spreadsheet for to get that sort of functionality. So that's kind of slick. And there's a interesting thing that I think people, when they first start using Quip, would probably dislike. I know at first I was like, but the more I've gotten into it, the more I've begun to appreciate it. And that's the idea that there's actually not a whole lot of control that you have over formatting, especially in spreadsheets.
Yes.
So, for example, almost everything, if you have a series of cells and you want to make these cells, the background of them are dark blue, and you can make the text black, and it'll let you do that, even though you can't read it at all. But what Quip does is it doesn't actually give you control over the font color. It basically says, all right, if you've got a light color here, I'm going to use a black for the font. And if you've got a dark color in the background, I'm going to use white for a font. It just automatically says, you want something that's readable, so this is what we're going to do. So that's kind of nice. But it of course, we have quite a bit more to it than just basic word processing, collaborative, and spreadsheet collaborative. It does have chat bar built into the side.
And it's really neat because it'll actually say when someone has viewed an update or a document. So if you share it out and they come back to you and said, oh yeah, I looked at it, you can look in the chat and say, yeah, you never opened it.
Right. And you can do the whole like @mention people also in the chat. So you can be sure to get their attention on things. They do get a ping, like on their phone if they have the Quip app installed, or if they have the Quip app on their desktop, it will install. Although I'm going to be honest, the last couple weeks using the Quip app has been not a pleasant experience. I don't know what's going on. It's been...
Well, they had some sync issues earlier.
Yeah, but even before that, it was having trouble. And ever since then, it's been like absolutely horrible.
Really? I've had no problems with it.
Well, that's it. The website for me is running super fast. It's the website I am having no troubles with. My laptop is not the most powerful. So that might be it. It might be that it just updated to a version that needs a bit more horsepower under the hood. Not entirely certain.
I've used it on the mobile, and I've had no problems on the mobile with the mobile app with her Quip. I have to say, it's not free, though.
That is the thing about Quip. So I believe Salesforce is actually, if you're a new Salesforce customer, I think they're doing 5 free licenses. Although that gets a little bit hinky.
Yeah.
The 5 free licenses you get are actually the more expensive Quip license, which you're like, oh, that's great. That's wonderful. I can have the better one for free. And then the moment you actually need a 6th license, you're paying the higher amount. Like you can't have 5 of the pro license and then
one cheaper one. Right.
And one cheaper one. No, you're like, if you grow from 5 licenses to 50, guess what? You're paying 45 on the higher amount. So that's the main reason we haven't gone to the higher tier yet. We at our company we're enjoying the lower tier does pretty well.
Yeah, I haven't seen.
It gets you unlimited space and all that stuff.
Yeah, I haven't seen too much need for the upper one. So it's because you're paying for it. If you're looking as a solo admin, you're probably still better off with using something like a Google Doc. Although quite honestly, unless your company's running Google Apps, you probably shouldn't be running Google Docs on your personal email anyways.
And that's exactly what we hit at our company, is that we actually have somebody in the leadership. I won't say who. Somebody in the leadership is like anti-Google Docs, like anti-Google Apps. I've done a little bit of silent campaigning in the Google Apps direction, and I have been met with a bit of a stonewall. I'm like, okay, fine. I know how it goes. But because of that, it means that for purposes like this, I can't use Google Docs. Yeah. All right, what's my alternative? Office 365? No. What's this Quip thing? Because I can't stand Office 365. For the Word Online, Excel Online.
Yes.
No. Yeah. No. Don't. Friends don't let friends use Word Online or Excel Online. They are. I've said my piece.
Okay. You feel so strongly about that, Mark. The other thing I will have to say is if you're interested in learning more about Quip, the website is Quip, QUIP.com. Do not click on Get Quip, because that will take you to a toothbrush company.
Toothbrushes. And they're supposedly good toothbrushes. I keep seeing ads for them. I'm like, maybe I should try one of these toothbrushes. So
seeing ads frequently makes it good? Maybe I should buy some more Facebook ads for the WizardCast then.
Maybe we should get Quip as a sponsor.
Which
toothbrushes.
The toothbrushes?
Yeah, why not? That way we don't have to buy them. They can just send them to us, and it'll be a real sponsor. We'll be like we're a real boy. Something else that Quip does actually is if you have a document that you create, and this, I'm going to be honest, this can be annoying. It can be super annoying, but it can also be extremely useful. If you make a Quip document in a folder that other people have access to,
it's automatically
everybody
shared.
else, well, yeah, it's automatically shared, but they also all get notices that this new document exists. So that's kind of a wake-up moment. Like the idea that Google Docs or Office 365 or SharePoint or any of those might do that without a huge amount of configuration is laughable.
Well, and the other thing,
Quip, it's just like, hey, there's a thing you might want to know about.
With, Google Docs, if you have a new employee that comes in, unless you specifically make sure they have access to the folders, just because they say you have access to folders doesn't mean they see the folder without searching for it. With Quip, that problem doesn't exist. we're using Quip actually right now. I used to write all my show notes in a rich text field in Salesforce, and I moved them over to Quip, primarily because it was just easier for Mark and I to collaborate and for Mark to slash through all my hard work in my script and replace it with something right before we record. I still plan on taking these and copy and pasting them into Salesforce just for episode tracking purposes. But for collaborating on a script, it's great.
Data for the sake of data there, Brian.
No, it's because I'm tracking other things meta about the episode in addition to what the script was.
Okay. You gonna put Einstein on that one day? Put in your downloads and put in the scripts and have Einstein tell you why the scripts got a lot of bad results, a lot of bad viewer counts versus high viewer counts.
I thought about that. Not the Einstein thing, but taking some of the stats that we get and putting it in.
Just have Einstein do it.
But yeah,
he'll come up with something weird, like every time you guys mention Patrick Duffy, your views go through the roof.
Look, we both know one of our most popular episodes from being taken off was the one with ninjas.
The one with ninjas.
The one with ninjas.
All right, so now we're mentioning ninjas.
Yes.
You'll have to add this to the script, and we'll have to see how this does in terms of listeners.
The one with ninjas.
2 Electric Boogaloo.
We actually did that already.
Did we?
Yes, we
3.
did. 3.
Electric chimney. I don't know.
No.
Hydroelectric?
It's just one of those fun things that I have no idea why people like to listen to our episodes.
I have no clue.
Yeah. If you would like to tell us why
Maybe
you like to
can
listen
tell us.
to the WizardCast, you can tweet to us at WizardCast_pod or email us at WizardCast@thewizardnews.com.
People have said, oh, we listen to you because you guys are funny. It's like, really?
Yeah, you and I both know we're not funny.
No. We're not. Maybe we're just funnier compared to the other podcasts people are listening to about Salesforce. Oh, that's harsh. That's a sick
That's because
burn.
no one else is trying to do funny.
Well, maybe.
How do we go from talking about Quip to talking about whether or not we're funny?
to actively dissing other podcasts? Way to go.
This is what happens, folks, when you don't have a script written for your main content.
And the thing is, we're bringing up Quip not because we have any interest in propping up the Salesforce landscape. That's not our point. We're talking about it because both my company and Brian's company have gotten a lot of good use out of it.
It's worth investigating.
It is definitely worth at least investigating. Put some time into it, and put more time and effort into it than just what you would for a Google Doc, because you're not going to get a lot out of it that way. But if you start exploring using it as a team, you start exploring the web apps, the live apps, the very idea of having a Google Doc with a Kanban board embedded into the Google Doc. To me, that's enough to make people kind of sit up and go, really?
I mean, if I hit the insert button here, you can do a calendar, a Kanban board, you do the spreadsheet like we're talking about, a checklist, a Salesforce record. You can mention persons, other documents or folders. You can include other data, spreadsheets, something from Jira. I don't use Jira.
Yeah, they've got a Jira link.
I haven't used Jira in years. You can create process and bars, horizontal rules, do outlines. It takes images. You can put files in there as an attachment.
They've just added something called a project tracker. This is new. It's not even coming up on the at.
Yep. You can do a poll. I saw one that used that countdown to count down how many days there was to Dreamforce, as well as your standard things like just bulleted lists and numbered lists. I mean, there's a lot you can add in here.
And lest we forget, this is actually just the beginning of the live apps. They announced at Dreamforce that they're going to also have a new series of live apps starting early this year, which are actually a marketplace, so that various companies can actually make live apps and offer that service and reselling of getting those live apps embedded into Quip. So actually, Ian Gotts, friend of mine, who's actually one of the founders of Elements.cloud, he was telling me all about how Elements.cloud, they're going to have one of the first live apps.
No.
For Quip. Yeah, you didn't hear about that?
No, that's
yeah.
could be
Yeah.
really cool.
So if you don't know what Elements.cloud is, it is really cool. It's a great product.
Elements.cloud, do you want to be a sponsor?
Ian would probably, but no, it's because he is also a bassist. He and I, every time we meet at like a conference or Dreamforce or whatever, it's what we're talking about, whatever bass we've been playing. But no, it is a good product. It's basically flow charting, and but it does this interesting new dimension to it where when you click on an element in the flow chart, you can actually dive down into another flow chart. So it's kind of like subflows, except it does it in a single click. You don't actually have to like.
And they've done
zoom out.
designs specifically for Salesforce in mind.
Right, exactly. Like metadata organization, how one thing impacts another, like a field impacts a workflow. They have designs set up for that. So some pretty cool stuff they're doing. So they're going to have, that's going to be one of the first live apps on their marketplace, which is going to be, I think it's Q1. And then they also have like Lucidchart, I believe, is going to be on there as well. A lot of people have used that. I'm sure there's others. I just can't think of them off the top of my head. But some pretty interesting stuff that's coming down the pike that I'm really looking forward to. So it is a product that started out pretty solid, had a solid pedigree. Brett Taylor is actually, he was the CEO of Quip. If you don't know who he is now president and chief product officer or something like that. He's basically
Something like that.
He's basically the head product guy for Salesforce now. He came up from Quip to this.
CEO
He's also
of product, something like that. Chief product officer.
Chief product officer. Right. Before his time at Quip, he actually worked at Facebook. He was the guy who invented the like button.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Now you know. And knowing is half the battle.
You beat me to it.
So yeah, so that's the pedigree that this app comes from, and it's only gotten better since then. Even though he's no longer doing it, it still is a pretty solid piece of software, and we're getting a lot of use out of it, a lot of mileage.
So check out Quip. You can find it at quip.com. And
yeah, I think there are a lot of ways to get free trials.
Well, they even offer a free trial right on the website.
Right. Exactly.
So, and for transparency purposes, I should say we don't get any sort of kickback from Quip.
No.
Salesforce. Come on.
That was a suggestive eyebrow waggle. If you couldn't see that on the audio format.
Parker Harris?
Okay, stop waggling your eyebrows at the founders.
Who's just about to make a bad Deep Space Nine reference?
There are no bad Deep Space Nine references.
So that's Quip. Now, before we kind of go out into the wind, or whatever we do in podcast land when podcast actually ends, if you're one of the great people that come to the wizardnews.com, you're going to see some changes to the website if you're listening to us through the website.
Warning, shameless self-promotion. Warning, danger will...
No, this is informative, because we do get some folks that actually go to the wizardnews.com to listen to the podcast instead of using Stitcher or Apple or whatever the case may be.
Okay.
I'm actually changing the player in the web from what I have been using to where I'm actually hosting the podcast. So things are going to look a little bit different now. I'm also going back through all our episodes and fixing things like bad links and Mark's picture that broke on like half the episodes because he changed his community profile.
But we're not fixing the bad jokes. Those are staying.
Those stay forever. And there'll be some other changes that we'll talk about in future episodes. But with that, WizardCast is produced by Brian Kwong and Mark Ross, directed by Brian Kwong and Mark Ross, technical administration by Brian Kwong and Mark Ross, script writing by Brian Kwong and Mark Ross, audio editing by Brian Kwong and Mark Ross, website maintenance by Brian Kwong and Mark Ross, and our intern in this episode was Barry Roberts.
Send us your interview suggestions, jokes, videos, tips, and feedback to wizardcast@thewizardnews.com, or head over to thewizardnews.com and click Contact WizardCast.
Don't forget to subscribe to the WizardCast and receive our next episode automagically.
Please post reviews on Apple Podcasts and share this episode around. It helps other people to listen to what you just had to put up with.
What happened to iTunes? I'm kidding.
Once
again, I'm Brian. Thanks for listening.
Maybe we should talk about a topic now then, because I feel like an
Safe harbor.
WizardCast is brought to you
please.
by...
No, sorry.
You can't say that.
No, I can't say that.